A continuation of the Braai series. Hey chef, good morning.
What's up? No. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
It's always nice to see you.
It's nice to be here.
Looking good as ever.
Wow, thank you so much. I love the hairstyle as well.
Thank you. It's something new, trying it out. You know, you never know when these things happen because the hairdresser's like, actually, it's gonna work.
I think it's working. So sometimes they mislead you, these hairdressers, but then this is actually really working.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to continue today. This is the last part of that welcoming ourselves to summer. And guys, we want to do summer right. You know, the whole point of this show is so that we can have pride in what we do in the kitchen and when we make our food, right? So we've been trying to, I'm going to take us back a little bit. We've been trying to sort of take us onto this journey where we want to make the best possible food that we can out of our kitchens, and this time it's on the braai. And I know kitchens are like more traditionally like a lady sort of woman type of thing in the house, right? Mm-hmm. And then braais are more often, masculinized. Is that a word? I don't know. What's
the word again? To maximize.
Masculine.
Oh, masculine. Oh, okay.
But I want to change that narrative, and this is something that I think ladies should also take ownership of, because a lot of what goes into braais is preparation, and preparation is really something that happens in the kitchen before you even go and light the fire, right? So we've been talking about presentation. We've been talking about how to shop, how to have your kitchen set up in the right way such that you're not going to have any surprises when you want to present your meal, right? And all of that stuff, I'm thinking to myself, just as I was preparing for this day, I was thinking that's more the things that women are doing before men even think about braai.
Yeah, true though.
Like, I'm a chef, right? But where I stay, I hardly know where things actually stay.
Being the chef that you are,
it's
yes.
funny, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's a funny thing. But I think it's also because I know where to store my stuff, which is stuff that I would use when I'm going to cook out for people, and yeah, that's a funny thing altogether. But anyway, it's we're trying to get people, ladies particularly, to be interested in braai as well, because it's as much to do with the kitchen as it is to do with what guys think braai is about.
Because as you're saying, you've done 80% of the work prior to you braaiing, prior to you throwing the meat on the braai stand. So already we can just finish off that step.
Okay, so guys, this is Tributi. Last week we marinated our meat, right? If you've been following, you'll notice that last week we marinated our meat, and the main reason why we've actually marinated a lot of this meat is because because super, you don't have to do much to super meat, you just have to toss it on the grill, and salt and pepper is enough. Okay, a bit of a sauce at the end will do the job, but really, like, salt and pepper is enough. It's a good cut of meat, it's good quality meat. But and we've marinated our meat last week. So now we want to put it on the fire, all right? And let's talk about setting that fire to the right sort of temperature, the coals, the heat that you want to get onto your meat, so that this thing comes out as moist, as tender, as juicy as possible, right? And we have a technique. So I've also kind of touched up on this before, but there's indirect cooking and direct cooking, okay?
Yeah, right. You're telling us about that when we're doing like en papillon and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So now you've got coals on your fire bed, right? And you want to make sure that the meat is cooked to the temperature that you're looking for you to achieve the results that you want to achieve, right? And now, I'm a fan of indirect cooking because this sort of slows down the process of cooking and tenderizes the meat in such a way that for sure you're going to get the results that you're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. So indirect cooking is basically a method where you have your meat on the one side of the grill or the braai stand, okay? And the coals are on the other side. Okay, so the meat is not directly on top of the coals. All right. Okay, do you get that?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, and that's just one of those ways that sort of slow cooks your braai, and
will it cook to perfection?
It will cook to perfection, my friend. I promise you. And another thing is that you don't want to be in a rush. Guys, remember we started this thing on braai as a culture. It's about getting the right company around you. It's about getting cold drinks, enough cold drinks to suffice the afternoon or the evening, to make sure that you're not in a rush, okay? Because obviously indirect cooking is going to be a little bit of a longer process than, you know, the normal way that we've been doing, where you just put the meat on top of the coals and it cooks away, right? So you want to make sure that when you're doing a braai, you have the right company, you have the right sort of you know, people around you, to make sure that you're not so focused on that's not what braai is about. That's not what even cooking food and hosting people is about.
Okay, school us.
You need to make sure that, you know, you have enough to sort of get by, so that you don't have to rush the cooking process.
Oh, I love that. So we can be, you know, nibbling on stuff.
Right. So I'm not gonna with my starters. Tine biltong. Actually, I had this question for people because I like my biltong wet and fatty, and then I know there's that kachimuti biltong where it's like, you know, a piece of stick that's like,
yes,
you know, dry to the bone. And I wonder what people like. But personally, I'm a wet and fatty person.
I now am that person. I used to be like a sticky dry, but then wet and fatty.
Oh, it's the one.
It's the one. I was actually craving it like yesterday.
Yeah, so you know, you need to have some of that around your braai. You know, share it, toss it around on maybe even a piece of bread. I like to make crostinis when I serve my private guests. I do this crostini thing. So crostini is a piece of bread, basically, French baguette. So you see these like little oval pieces of bread that are cut, buttered, grilled, and then you can toss some biltong on top of there. Add a little bit of some cream cheese on top of there, some mayo if you like, slap it on that bread, wet and fatty biltong, nibble on that, and then you don't have to rush the cooking process of the meat. So that indirect process of cooking your braai meat is going to be something that you never had to ask. Braai master had pressure. That's another thing that you guys need to know about this part of the series. When the guy's cooking, let him cook. Right? You don't want to pressurize this braai master. You don't even want to ask him questions, because I promise you, like, you won't eat the best meat if you put pressure on your braai master. But anyway, yeah, so we've got this indirect cooking method that we're using, and it really starts from, you know, getting your fire right. Okay. Kana chida uchigadzire moto, guys, mapepa, maplastic, musaisa mapepa maplastic.
Oh.
Support because
moto we braai. No passive plastic.
Take your time. Ukaita tsotso dzenyu dzinoita kuti moto wenyu unyatsoita kuti marasha awanika, anditi. You don't have to rush the process by putting mapepa and plastic at TD, please, and put down. Pane mafirelighters anowanika futi mumashops anogona kubitsirei pamune muchida mapepa payo, but kusaziva hanzi my people perish because of the lack of
knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And let's learn better, guys. Let's learn how to do it best, actually, and then we can always have, you know, these braais that are made to perfection.
So it's in the fire as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the fire.
It's not just about the meat. If you're tuning in, it is the braai series right here on the Morning Galaxy or Chef. We're also live on Facebook. You can go check it out. We're live on Facebook. Join the conversation. Mamchisa ma paper, nima plastic, moto with braai. Chef Shingi, continue.
Alright. Okay, so I think personally we've talked about presentation, right? Before, and this is that part. Since this is the last series, you want to make sure that you serve meat that's going to be meat and braai sides, because in the last week we talked about sides that can actually outshine your meat. Okay. I feel like, you know, you as the braai master or as the person that's cooking for or hosting a bunch of people, you always have to be present. You always have to be woke and keep your eyes open to whatever's happening on the grill, okay? It's like you do I don't want the least drinks for Braai Perfection. I know you're excited because you're the host and you know maybe your wife is doing a good job at making sure that everyone's got what they need around them, but as the Braai Master, you've got to be focused. You've got to be making sure that you're keeping an eye on this meat because that's what everyone's waiting for. That's what everyone's gathered for, right? And takuno pakura nyama pepe. Tikataura tikati sausage ngaisa baiwe. Inochekwa pepes, ichekwa mapiece pepe zvekuti inenge yakangoitoka nice kekuti presentation yacho iri kunyatsooneka kuti hai sausage yakasvika ndi nyama the same. Don't cut it on the braai, please. I put her. Okay.
Mati chef, mati nyama toita sei.
Sai check pa braai. Kana ka marinate zvezvo anditika. Ngai nyatsoita kuti igochwe ichitenderedzwa zvakanaka ichipindurwa zvakanaka pepe anditika. And don't cut it because what you actually want to obtain as a result from marinating meat and putting on the braai is that crust that comes from the marinade, okay? The crust is what which is all the flavor. This is where all the flavor is coming from. And the moment you cut nyama, no, don't do that, okay? Because this, as is the case with the sausage, when you poke it, which you shouldn't, when you cut your meat, you're going to lose all that moisture from inside that's been cooking inside of the meat and keeping the meat juicy, right? So you never want to cut it until you're actually serving it, okay? So good company, cold drinks, that's what keeps a braai together. So this whole cultural element around being around a fire is really important for you to understand, because if you're going to rush a braai, it's never going to be as good as it should be, all right? Saka takuno presenta pepe nyama usoni chekera pepe kudubutsa sauce keke kanozodiwa panyama is and then that meat comes together. Those braai sides we talked about, again, marinating veggies. I know for some of you viewers, listeners, it's been the first time you might have heard of marinating veggies.
Yes.
You want to do that. Potatoes, very good at marinating veggies. Very, very good on marinades. Carrots, very good on marinades. You'll notice that these are hard veggies, right?
That so we can marinate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you sit these in a marinade, you'll find that they will soak in some flavor, and then you wanna toss them on top of the braai, wrap them in foil paper, if you will, that cooks it much faster, and before you know it, you have a veg side that will outshine your meat almost. So it's all these things that you want to put together that will make this braai come alive again.
And how long is the meat supposed to take? Because you're saying that we should be patient and not focus on that. Chef Shingi. How long is it supposed to take? Please prepare us.
All right.
Yeah.
First of all, Braai Master DJ Master does a total already. But now with the meat, so it depends what meat you're cooking. If it's chicken, you don't want to keep it on there for too long. Already what happens when you start marinating meat is that it starts to cold cook. Okay, it's called cold cooking. Okay, so citrus juices, for example, your lemon juice, your vinegar, will start to cook meat before it's even on the braai, because it's what they call cold cooking when you're marinating, right? So it's not going to take long. Your chicken should take you maybe 45 minutes if you've marinated properly. Your steak, it depends how well you want to do it. And I've spoken about this before in various platforms, actually. You're not going to kill a cow twice, please, guys. Let's cook meat to a medium rare. Medium. Okay. Nothing past medium, please. Because we've got such good quality meat in Zimbabwe, guys. I promise you don't want to do anything other than kill it for the second time. You don't want to kill it for the second time. In Zim, we have such good quality meat that medium, rare. Okay, rare is maybe pushing it.
Yeah, I think. Right? Yeah,
so you have to understand that kana uchibika pepe andiriga kana tichiti isusu twisa crust panyama tukurira kuti ropa riya andiriga riri kubikika mukati, and then it becomes juice. right? It's actually not blood anymore, right? It becomes juice because you've created a crust on the outside. You're going to make sure that, you know, when you cut this thing, you don't imagine it as blood.
When I want mine cremated, I want mine well done.
Guys, don't do this. This is because people have been buying the wrong quality cuts of meat in the butcheries. I promise you, the moment you guys get accustomed to having this meat medium or medium rare, you won't go back.
Yeah, that's
you.
true.
You won't go back. It's a bit like this biltong thing that we're talking about now, where
the
you
wet
have the
and
dry
fatty.
stick and the wet and fatty. I mean, it's about taste, guys. You have to actually want to try something, because I also know that Zimbos are not trying to try this rare thing.
Yeah, please. Let's do it. And I'm African, no blood on the meat. Chef Shingi, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait for next week. You can go watch it, rewatch it. And the Braai Master asking for my food neighbor.
And the private life is happy.
Okay, Chef. Your social media handles, please.
Okay, so you can catch me on Instagram at the Chef Life of Shingi. That's my Instagram handle. On Facebook, it's the OK Chef. So that stands for the Outdoor Kitchen Chef. I'm big on braai, as you can see. And my mobile number is 0774 410 008. You can catch me on WhatsApp. Give me a ring, guys. Book me, call me. This is the season to do things. I'd appreciate it. I really would.
Oh, thank you so much, Chef Shingi. Can't wait to have you back next week. Taking our time to exactly 11 o'clock. It is time for the news.